going to talk about sewing curves. They may sound intimidating, but with a little bit of practice, you'll get them in no time. The first step of sewing a curve is to find the center of each of the pattern piece's curves. You'll do this by lining them up, folding them in half, and giving it a finger press to mark. Once you've done this, we're going to line up the two edges and pin. It's important to keep the edges straight and not at an angle or curved. If using a pattern that has notches, make sure that those match up as well. Now, using the two marks that you made, pin the centers together. At this point, you can keep on pinning the rest of the curve, or you can take it to the sewing machine. Now, it's imperative that you keep your seam allowances as perfect as possible. We'll start with a back stitch, and then remove that first pin and continue sewing along. Do your best to keep everything smooth and your raw edges lined up as you go. Because these are curved pieces, they have a lot of stretch, so be careful not to pull and not to force your fabric, otherwise you'll throw off the alignment at the end. Now when you see a spot that starts to bunch like this, put your needle down, lift up your foot, and smooth everything out. Once you have it all smooth, lower your foot and continue sewing. Now once you get to the end, it's going to be harder to keep your seam allowances lined up. Take a pair of scissors, a pair of tweezers, anything you can use just to hold things in place when it gets too tight for your fingers. And this is what it'll look like once you're done sewing. Take it over to the iron and give it a good steam press. As long as your seam is straight and there's no puckers, everything should lay flat. At this point, if you'd like, you can flip it over and clip every inch or so into the seam allowance. Make sure not to catch the stitches. And that's it! You sewed a curve.